Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to look at how you can use SPSS. That is the basic things you have to know about SPSS before you can use it for data analysis. So today's section is just going to be on introduction to SPSS, and in the subsequent videos, we're going to explore you to how you can use it to analyze software. I think I also try and do a video on how you can install SPSS on your system in case you don't have the software. So that is it. Don't forget to like and comment what you would like to learn about the software when you finish watching this video. So we are going to look at how you can install it in the subsequent videos and how you can use it to analyze data proper. But today's section is just based on the basic things or basic introduction to the SPSS software. So the term SPSS basically stands for statistical package for social sciences. So basically it's a software tool or a tool that is used to basically analyze data in the field of social science, but because of its advanced features, it can be used to analyze data in other fields like statistical sciences. So it has more advanced, analysis tools compared to the common ones like the XPM, like Excel. So Excel can be used, and we have videos on that on this platform or on this channel. You can check it. But SPSS gives a more broader options for you to analyze a bulk of data compared to Excel. Other ones include the R, the Minitab, and the Python. But we're going to focus our attention today on just SPSS today. So let's have a look at how the interface look like and how you can begin by using the SPSS software. So if you have your system, just launch it on your PC and let's begin. If you don't have it too, I think I will do a video on how to use the SPSS software in the coming days. So if you try and like and subscribe the video or the channel after watching so you can receive every update that we drop on this channel. If you have any comment or your concern, to try and drop it in the comment section so that we'll be able to address you as early as you can. Now this is the interface for SPSS. It just looks like Microsoft Excel that has cells. But the difference between this one and the Excel is that SPSS have the sheet of SPSS has two views. It has the data view here and it has a variable view. So we have two views in SPSS. We have the data view and the variable view. So the data view here is where you enter your data, and the variable view is where you will enter the variables, or when you input your data here, the variable about the data is being displayed. Let's take an example. Now let's have this as an interface. Before we come to even the cells itself, let's look at the various parts of the interface of the SPSS. The first bar here is what we call the title bar. So here's the title bar that displays the title of your work. So the first bar where you have the untitled data set IBMS SPSS statistics data. This one is at version 27. So if you have other version, lower versions, or even higher versions, they may share close similarities. But I think there are some advanced features in mind compared to the previous versions, which are lower than 27. So if you want to save your system, it is going to be indicated here. So whenever you have an SPSS software document and you see here untitled, that means you have not saved your document. So you have to, if you save it by coming to the file, just like how you save any document in MS Word or MS document, you come to the file and you save it. When you save it, the name of your document will appear here. But whenever you see here written untitled, it means this one's or the document here has not been saved yet. That's the first bar of the SPSS interface. Now the next bar is the menu bar. So here is the menu bar. So you have the file, the edit, the view, the data, transform, analyze, graphs, utilities, extensions, window, and help. These ones are where the various options that are used to analyze data are found. So we have the file. When you take the file is where basically we use to save. If you want to save your data or document, you come to the file and maybe you save it, just like how you save any other document in MS Word. The next one is edit, which you are going to also look at how we are going to use it. You have options like paste and the rest, or in here you have what you call a view that has the submenu. You have data itself, we have transform. So in the subsequent view, we're going to look at how you can use the various options under each menu. Then we have the most important part, which is the analyze. The analyze comprises of several analysis tools that are used to analyze data in basic statistics. Then we have what we call the graphs, we have the utilities, we have extensions, and the rest. So these are what we call the menu bar. It displays options that contain several analysis tools which can be used to analyze the data. The next ones are the icons. These icons are basically the icons for the commonly used tools in SPSS. So these ones, they are all found as at least one of the options in the menu bar, but these are the commonly used tools in SPSS. So they normally give you with icons so that if you want to just use it, you can easily use it. So let's come to the data itself, or the SPSS software itself. As I said, we have two views of the interface. The first view is called the data view, and the next view is called the variable view. So here is where you enter data. So let's begin by, let's say, entering a data. So let's say I have my data here. See 1, let's say here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6. Okay, so let's even read. So we say 1 again, say 2, let's say 1 to 2. So let's say 2. Okay, so let's say 2. These are data for the first, let's say scan 1. We are inputting, let's say, so say we have here 3. Let me leave 1. So this, if here, let's say 2, let's say 4, 6, 8, maybe 5, 6, any data at all. You're just inputting in this that you want. And next one, let's say we have let's say 3, let's say 4, 5, 6. So this is for just 36. So I'm just inputting any hypothetical data that is of no meaning, but you're going to use it to analyze. We're going to use how you can use it to analyze. Now, whenever you enter raw data in the variable view, in the data view, each of these data which is entered in a column represent a variable. So let's see this here, it has a variable. Now when you come to the variable view, the variable gives you the properties of each variable that you have displayed. So let's say in my study, the data that I have here is for maybe an study where the first column represents, let's say, the gender of let's say gender as my variable. I'll have to come here and change it. So if I want to change this one, if I want to change the name of this particular column, I won't do it here. I have to come to the variable view and see which values correspond to this column. That's the first one. So this particular column, the name for this column or the variable name for this column can be changed at the variable view by coming here. So you say I want this particular column to be gender. I will just type here gender. Now take note, whenever you want to rename any variable in a variable view, SPSS is such that you can't use any symbol, or you can't even use spaces if you want to give a name. That is just the default settings in it. So if you try to give a space between a variable name, then it will tell you that no, that is not how it should be done. So the first variable is this one. So we have a data view. When I come here, now I have this one named as gender. That means I have 2, 1, 2, 1 like that. So this represents just a representation for a gender. The next one is, let's say, let me see, I want to name this as, let me say the age. So let's say I just want to represent it by age. So let's change it to age. And when I come to data view, I realize that here the variable name has been changed to age. When I come to this side, let's say I want to represent this, the last one, let's say I want this one to be, let's say ID, and let's say this is ID, just a representation for 36. So that's ID. So I've changed the variable's name, each of them in the variable view. That means you can't change it here directly unless you go to the variable view before you can change it. Now the next one is what you call, the next property of the variable is what you call the type. The type here represents what type of data do you have at each variable. So when I come to gender, the default one is numeric. So the gender one, the data I have there is for numeric. I have what is there numeric. So if you have other ones, maybe you have a comma as a digit, you have dots, you have scientific notations, you have dates, you have dollars, you have custom currency, or any of these one represent a type of data that you have there. But what I have there, what is there is just a data, a numeric. So I'll just maintain here as numeric. When I come to age is the same thing, is still numeric. Then the ID2 is also a numeric. So That is it. Now the next one is the width. The width is basically the more like the how wide the column is. So you can choose to increase the width. You can choose to make it more than 8, 9, 10 or whatever, and it's still going to be what the same. Based on how many numbers you have in each cell and the data view, you can adjust the width. The width and the column basically performs the same function. The next one you have there is decimal. So the decimal is you want to give how many decimals do you want the data to display. So if I can't have here each of the values here have two decimal places. That's why when you come here we have two. So by default SPSS gives you a two decimal place. If you can choose to vary this by just moving it, let's say 0. So since age I can make this one 0. I can make this one 0. When I change each of them to 0, then I'm going to see that all the decimals have been changed towards 0. This one is very easy to use. So that is it. That is decimal. The next property of it is label. The label is maybe you can choose to give a brief description of each of the variable. So gender. So let's say gender. You can say gender is male or female. That is just a description of the variable gender. So male or female. That is just a description. Then the next one we have the age. So maybe I say the age, so age in years. So the age is in years. Then the ID. So let's say the ID of students. So ID of students. That is just a description. You are labeling each of the variables so that you can be much specific. Then the next one is what you call the values. So with the values, you will come to that. You come to the values but let's go to the missing. Do you have any missing or any of the any of the values here missing? So when I take the first variable, there's no value missing here. So all the cells under each continuum has a value. So there's no missing value there or missing character there. The next one is column. The column and the width is more like the same. When you increase the column width, the column become much wider. So if you want to enter more than 8 decimal figure at the data, you have to come and increase the width. You can also apply an alignment to the values you have in the data view. So by default, it is at right align. So you can choose to do left align, maybe a center or right. So that is where you want to align your data. Then the next one is the measure. Now in statistics, we have I think about 4 levels of measurement. We can have a nominal measurement, we can have ordinal, we can have interval, you can have the scale. So these 4 levels of measurement are applicable to different data. So if a data we have is a qualitative data or categorical, then we can measure it in terms of nominal or ordinal. So nominal means maybe it is just grouped into a particular name. If it's ordinal means it is not valued but it is in a particular order. So that is it. Then the other ones is for quantitative, which is basically scale. The scale is made of ratio and interval. So ratio and interval level of measurement in statistics are put together here as a scale. So the value you want to input here, if your variable is a nominal nominal variable, then you select a nominal. So with my gender, the gender is there, though it is there as values, but a gender is more like a nominal data. So a gender can either be male or female or maybe other. Yeah, maybe we don't have levels. So if it comes with levels, then we can have, let's say, ordinal. So we just choose nominal. The next one is we have the age. The age is also a value represented. So with this one, you choose a scale. Now this scale represents an interval level and a ratio. So if it is either a continuous data or discontinuous, then we say it is measured on a scale. Then the next one is the ID to show us a scale. So give this one is just give a description of the level of measurement. The next one is the input, which you are going to look at. So don't bother yourself with this one for now. When you look at how to analyze data proper, you are going to look at how you can adjust each of these. Now the next thing is the values. So the values is basically sometimes you can choose to represent the values at the data view with let's say with a name. Basically, when you collect data in a Likert scale where we have agree, disagree, neutral, strongly, those kind of things. Yeah, so you can use these numbers to represent each of them. So let's say I want here under the gender, I want all the ones here to represent a male. Then I want all the twos to represent female. In that case, I will come to the value of the variable view of the gender. So when I come here, what I will do is, so the value, I will come and select this one. Now I'm going to label the one. So the one that is found at the gender, I will say let the one be labeled as, let's say, male. Then I add. Then let the two be labeled as female. Then I add. This is an important when it comes to if you are doing Likert scale. So that one is very important where you assign values to each of the responses from the respondents. Now you click on OK. So when you click on this, you have applied a value to the or let's say you have applied a name or a label to the values here. So when you come here, each of the one here represents the male, and each of the two here represent female. So if you come to the icon view, this particular icon that is called the value labels, you have labeled the values. You can toggle from them from being males and females. When you click on the A, it comes to the female. So this one, that is how it is. So if you want it to come to the value form, then you see like this, all the twos become one, then all the twos become female, and all the ones becomes what, male. This also is a form of coding. You want to code, responses with values, or you want to code the values with what, labels. So that's where you come to. You do it this particular. You follow this particular step. We are going to look at how you can use it when it comes to proper data analysis itself. So we can use this particular variables to toggle between the alphabet, that is the words, and the value form of that particular variable. So that is just a brief introduction of the SPSS. If you have any question, you can just drop it as a comment section. In the subsequent video, we're going to look at how you can use the software itself to analyze proper data so that you'll be able to elaborate more detail, no matter how complex it is. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe after watching so you can receive updates on this channel. Thank you.